Medicine Hat police laid charges after a child was sexually abused. Serving up more warm meals.
Our approach was that we never want to say no, and we don't.
To meet the growing demand in Lethbridge. And crushing the cold.
It just changes your day. It teaches you to deal with small amounts of stress.
And taking the temperature of the health claims.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Alicia Fieldberg.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Police have just released more details about a hit and run this summer near Brooks that killed an Alberta man. The suspect may have fled the country and there's a warrant out for his arrest. On August 25th, Brooks RCMP responded to a report of an abandoned vehicle on Highway 1 near Range Road 131. Police say 30-year-old Christopher Rogers of Andrew, Alberta was found dead outside. They believe Rogers got out to check his vehicle after hitting an animal and was struck by another vehicle. Investigators say the driver was 28-year-old Subham Singh, who left Canada shortly after. He's charged with failing to remain at the scene of an accident resulting in death. A 38-year-old Medicine Hat man faces charges of sexual assault and sexual contact with a child. Medicine Hat police received a report that a man had sexual contact with a youth who was working for him at a business in the 1800 block of Strachan Road Southeast. Investigators believe the incidents happened between September and December 2025. Our Pete Dave was charged and is scheduled to appear in court on February 11th. Anyone with information related to this investigation or the accused is encouraged to contact the Medicine Hat police. The RCMP is asking for help finding a man facing several charges, including assault with a weapon. Police released this photo of 19-year-old Latrell Andre Brown. Last month, the Piikani Nation RCMP received a report of a known offender repeatedly ramming a victim's vehicle with his vehicle before taking off. If you know where Brown may be, contact RCMP. Funding is a concern for many communities, but for rural municipalities that span hundreds of kilometers with only a small percentage of the population, it's especially challenging. Rural municipalities in Alberta say the province has not been pitching in enough, and now they face a $17 billion infrastructure deficit. Carson Marsouk reports.
Covering over 2,800 square kilometers, Lethbridge County is home to more than 10,000 residents and continues to grow.
As we see costs rise, intensity and growth are good things, but at the same time, that impact on our infrastructure is a real struggle.
To ensure roads, bridges, and other services are up to date, the county relies on funding from the province, but over the years, that money has been less and less.
The struggle is real. I think we see increased downloading from the province, which makes it tough. We have limited ways to generate revenue as a municipality, but we continue to face a shortfall as far as our infrastructure is.
Lethbridge County isn't alone. A recent review by the Rural Municipalities of Alberta shows that in 2024, those communities faced a $17 billion deficit in infrastructure funding.
Moving into 2026, we're actually expecting that number to continue to grow and sit around that $25 billion mark.
Rural municipalities cover 85% of Alberta's land mass, with only 15% of the population. Members of the RMA are responsible for 135,000 kilometers of roads, 75% of bridges, and 30% of water systems. The organization says it's facing long-term underfunding by the province.
This has been building over years. It's not something that just happened overnight. And again, we're not going to fix it overnight. And it's not going to be, the province stepping in and taking it over. It's going to be fixed when we sit down at the table together and we look at the long-term solutions.
The RMA has launched an advocacy campaign called Closing the Gap. In response, the province says as fiscal resources are finite, municipalities are encouraged to prioritize core infrastructure when allocating available grant dollars and local tax revenues. The minister adding the province invested $118 million to support roads, bridges, and water projects last year, along with $820 million through its local government fiscal framework.
That $180 million cash injection, absolutely very well welcomed, and the money was well spent, but it is just a drop in the bucket at the end of the day.
I don't think it's purely the responsibility of municipalities. I think this needs to be a joint collaborative effort. And I would also say the same for the federal government.
Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The province says there are revenue pressures and competing priorities, but all funding decisions will be communicated through the upcoming provincial budget. The union representing Lethbridge firefighters has withdrawn from the Alberta Federation of Labour and has called on its president to resign. In a December 3rd letter, International Association of Firefighters Union informed AFL of its decision to withdraw. The letter says it follows concerns regarding leadership and the overall direction of the federation. The union president pointed to the teachers' strike last fall, highlighting what it sees as the AFL's significant inaction, lack of coordination, and an overall sense of disorganization within the federation. The Lethbridge Union was the last firefighters union in the province to leave the AFL. All right, Danielle, it is very cold in southern Alberta right now.
It sure is. Definitely a bite in the air. And wind chill is, of course, a factor. Winds are calm for the most part, but they're picking up here and there a little bit, enough to make it feel more like -19 in Claresholm, -17 in Pincher Creek, -19 in Lethbridge, and -25 with that wind chill in Medicine Hat. Tomorrow will be another cold one, but we're not looking at wind chill values in the -40s any longer. And as you can see, the cold warning has retreated off to the north. So we have no warnings in place for the far south. There is a snowfall warning in place for the Rocky Mountain House area. So we're not looking at that kind of snowfall here, but this system will make its way down tomorrow and deliver snow to many communities for tomorrow. I'll talk about that coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. On cold days like these, a warm bowl of soup can make a big difference, and now more people in Lethbridge can get that thanks to an expansion of the soup kitchen. As Quinn Keenan reports, today's grand opening comes at a time of great need.
We're thankful that we're able to add that additional space.
36 more seats and a lot more kitchen storage, thanks to an expansion of the Lethbridge Soup Kitchen. The money was raised exclusively through private donations.
Decided that what we should do is add on to our building, so we added a 30 by 60 foot addition. We were thankful that we had about half the funds available in reserve, and we had a major donor that stepped up for almost half of the rest of the cost of almost $500,000.
The project happened in part because of next door. The Lethbridge shelter expanded. The shelter can now accommodate up to 200 people a night. Streets Alive Mission also moved in next door, bringing more homeless and vulnerable to the area.
You build a larger facility, people will come. So we thought, well, we have to be proactive. We don't want to turn anyone away, so we started making plans to enlarge our dining room.
Even before the shelter expansion, the soup kitchen had been consistently serving more meals over recent years. There are days where the kitchen serves up to 600 meals.
Our approach was that we never want to say no, and we don't. We do have people that maybe are not at their best behavior, they're not allowed in. We would then provide a meal for them at the shelter.
The work was done before Christmas, but a dedication ceremony for donors is planned for Sunday.
So basically it's recognizing the value of what has happened and give credit to those who made it happen.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The former Chief of Staff for Stephen Harper spoke at the U of L ahead of the Federal Conservative Party convention in Calgary next week. Ian Brody served as Harper's Chief of Staff from 2006 to 2008. He was also part of the senior team that helped create the modern Conservative Party of Canada. Now, as a professor at University of Calgary, he's trying to give insight to future public affairs professionals.
It's, as you know, a tough job market for students these days. Employers are looking for very focused job market skills, and the University of Lethbridge, I think, has always been very good. The students in the Faculty of Arts have gone on to lots of careers in government and in public affairs and the public service generally.
Brody's talk is part of the university's Policy Pipeline series, which looks to connect U of L students with public service experts. You can check out the Alberta Food and Beverage Expo at the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Centre tomorrow. More than 120 vendors will be handing out wine, beer, cocktails, and food samples from restaurants in Lethbridge and the surrounding areas. Organizers say the event continues to grow every year, with other shows being held in Medicine Hat, Red Deer, and Grand Prairie. This is the 13th year it's been offered in Lethbridge. Organizers are expecting more than 6,000 people to attend.
Being able to talk to your direct audience, being able to get your product liquid to lips, food to lips, and being able to meet the people that come into your restaurant, I think that's a big deal. It gives you an opportunity to have that face-to-face interaction, and just the mood is always so positive, and everyone's really excited to explore and try new things, and that to me, that's invaluable from a marketing standpoint, but it's also a lot of fun.
The show runs from 4 until 10 tomorrow night. Another option in Lethbridge tomorrow night gives you access to local creativity and talent. The Allied Arts Council is hosting a gallery hop. The free event will tour 5 local galleries in downtown Lethbridge: LA Gallery, Trianon Gallery, Southern Alberta Art Gallery, CASA, and Legend Gallery. This is the second year for the event. It starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow. University of Lethbridge's Play Day will be back again this Family Day, and this year it will be even bigger. Bouncy castles, a roving gym, and swimming will all be back. And this year will include a building blocks theme, including new Lego activity zone. There will also be an area for cardboard fort building, chess, and a quiet sensory room. Play Day started in 2012, and more than 150 volunteers helped make it possible. It will take place February 16th from 11 until 3 p.m. Alzheimer's is often associated with seniors, but it can appear even earlier. A woman diagnosed at the age of 54 is the first in Canada to receive a new medication designed to slow down the disease.
All right, here's your sky cam about an hour ago, facing northwest, and it's pretty, but it's cold. And it's going to remain cold for another day. In fact, we're also going to add some snow to this. This is wintry weather, but it's short term because we have a warming trend coming up in a couple of days here. All right, this is what it feels like with the wind chill. Claresholm feels closer to -17. Same thing for Pincher Creek. -19 is what it feels like in Lethbridge, and -25 in Medicine Hat. So certainly a bite out there, but no more warnings in place. Yesterday we had a cold warning. We had the risk of wind chills in the -40s. That is now retreated. So Provost and up is where the cold warning is in place, and off into Saskatchewan. And then there's the snowfall warning in place for Rocky Mountain House. And this is because the system's going to be tracking down and deliver a good amount of snow. So for Rocky Mountain House, looking at over 20 centimeters. We're not going to see that in the far south tomorrow, but we're sure going to see enough to shovel for many communities. So it feels like winter. Certainly going to look more like winter out there as well. All right, there's that system that's starting to track down, and it will intensify tonight when it comes to snowfall. The winds are going to pick up as well. So it's not just snow, also blowing snow, which will reduce visibility on the roads. When you're looking at the timeline for this, it will start to make its way down Highway 2 around the midnight hour. And then it will start to intensify and really pick up in the morning hours for most communities. Down Highway 2 to the west of Highway 2, and then over to Lethbridge, down to Milk River. So this is why we are looking at significant snowfall totals, or somewhat significant, we can say, because this will be lasting all morning and then start to fizzle out to just a few flurries in the afternoon hours. So when you're talking how much, well, let's go over the map here. And again, this is just an event for late tonight and for tomorrow, and then the snow will be done for Sunday. So a couple centimeters is what it looks like we'll pick up in Pincher Creek. Lethbridge could see about 5 to 7 centimeters, and that same idea for High River, same idea for Milk River as well. And then as we track over to Medicine Hat, we're going to see less amounts, because this system is mainly going to be, well, the bullseye area will be down QE2 and Highway 2 towards Lethbridge and Milk River area. Okay, so when that's amounts, you'll likely need to shovel, and you're going to need to be prepared for another cold one as well for tomorrow. -9 overnight in East Kootenay, with a high of -5 and mainly cloudy skies for tomorrow. For Crow's Nest Pass, -12 tonight with a wind chill of -18. Again, the snow starting around that midnight hour and then carrying through, especially Saturday morning, fizzling out to flurries in the afternoon. Throughout the day, as the winds pick up here and there, you're looking at a wind chill of -20. So that's in the morning and possible in the afternoon as well. And that same idea for Medicine Hat. So the temperature will actually be rising for most communities overnight tonight, but it still will be cold tomorrow. So we'll start to get a little better, but you're still looking at a wind chill of -25 at times throughout the day in Medicine Hat for tomorrow, with lighter snow, but some snowfall nonetheless. All right, -11 for Lethbridge tomorrow, wind chill throughout the day at times -20. Again, we're looking at picking up 5 to 7 centimeters of snow in total with this system. But look at how your temperatures recover. -3 by Sunday, and we should be just above freezing by Tuesday of next week.
There's a new medication that can help slow the progression of Alzheimer's, and a woman in Montreal is among the first in the country to receive it. CTV's Sweta Rassi explains.
Nathalie Allard was just 54 years old when she got the news that changed her life forever. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
A big shock, scared.
Since then, she says she stopped going to work, she can no longer drive, and she finds herself relying more and more on the support of her husband, Marc-André Lefebvre.
We didn't know what to do, how to deal with this thing.
Now at 56, Allard is facing something new, hope. She's among the first in Canada to receive a new treatment designed to slow the progression of Alzheimer's. It's called lecanemab, and it was finally approved by Health Canada in October of last year. The journey was a long time coming.
If you see a V, when I do the V, it's because of victory.
And it's also because of 2 years of waiting.
For the next 18 months, Allard will have to get regular infusions. It could slow cognitive decline by 30% in patients diagnosed early. Dr. Paolo Vitali is a neurologist.
They have prolonged autonomy for 1 year compared to the non-treated individual.
According to national data, in Canada, dementia is expected to more than double over the next 20 years. This therapy costs around $30,000, and access is limited as not all provinces provide full coverage.
Our population is getting older and older. We are expecting more prevalence of Alzheimer's disease in our population.
For the couple, this new treatment represents something invaluable: time.
Maybe we will do a fantastic trip one day. Maybe we will see a super sunset. Maybe we will be witness to the birth of our grandchildren.
And not a moment taken for granted. Sweta Rassi, CTV News.
An Alberta father has an invention aimed at helping parents. He created the device after some scary moments where he couldn't find his child and hopes to save others from that panic. The Lethbridge Hurricanes play tonight, still looking to snap their losing streak. The Medicine Hat Tigers will be on the road trying to build a new winning streak. The Canes have just one game this weekend. They'll get a visit from the Regina Pats tonight. The Pats won their only matchup so far this season back in October. Lethbridge is still stuck in the middle of an 8-game losing streak. Puck drop is set for 7. The Tigers play the Saskatoon Blades. Medicine Hat has won both games in the series so far. The game starts at 7, then tomorrow the Tigers look for revenge against the Prince Albert Raiders. The Raiders snapped the Tigers' historic 19-game winning streak last Saturday. This game also starts at 7. The BC Hockey League is back in action coming off the league's All-Star weekend. The Brooks Bandits continue to push for better seeding as the playoffs get closer. The Bandits will spend the weekend at home with the game against the Spruce Grove Saints tomorrow at 7 p.m. Spruce Grove has 2-1 edge in the series. Sunday's game is against the Okotoks Oilers, and the Oilers have won 19 straight games against the Bandits over the last 5 seasons. Puck drop is at 4 p.m. The Cranbrook Bucks are on a 3-game winning streak. They look to keep that going tonight with a home game against the Sherwood Park Crusaders at 7. Sunday will be a tough matchup as the Black Falls Bulldogs. That game starts at 4. And the Pronghorns and Kodiaks each have teams in action this weekend. The Pronghorns basketball teams hit the road, matched up against the Winnipeg Westmen. The women's game tips off tonight at 6, followed by the men at 8. Tomorrow the women will play at 5 and the men will play at 7. Kodiak's basketball will be at home this weekend, hosting the Briarcrest College Clippers. The women play at 6 and the men at 8. And tomorrow the women's team plays at 1 and the men tip off at 3. The volleyball teams will be on the road against Briarcrest. Games tonight start at 5 and 7. Then tomorrow we'll also see early starts at noon and at 2. And Alberta Man's invention for helping locate kids at ski resorts is coming to Jasper's Marmot Basin. The Ski Crumb is a radio-based GPS system that can track your child while out on the slopes. The company says it's an alternative to tracking apps that sometimes fail when cell service drops or batteries freeze. The tech is available at some ski resorts in BC, and Marmot will be the first Alberta resort offering it. Keith McIntyre was inspired to create the device after he lost his son on a mountain for 45 minutes.
It is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. I talked to thousands of parents, and anyone that skis a significant amount of time has had some incident. And whether it's 5 minutes or 2 hours, that's too long to be separated from your child.
It costs $20 to rent at Marmot Basin or $199 to purchase for yourself. Well, most people put on more clothes in the winter, but some people are getting into swimsuits instead. They embrace the cold by taking icy plunges and say it comes with big benefits. We hear from a health expert about the trend coming up. Jumping in Alberta's glacier-fed rivers and lakes takes some nerve at any time of the year, but especially in January. For one Canmore woman, cold water exposure is part of her everyday routine. But taking the plunge might not be for everyone. Tyler Barrow has more.
Slipping right in. The weather, kind of balmy for January, only around -10 degrees Celsius.
I started ice plunging about 10 years ago. Absolutely fell in love with it.
Canmore resident Angela Knox swears by cold water exposure. Knox says it's a way for her to connect with nature while also boosting her mood.
It just changes your day. It teaches you to deal with small amounts of stress and have a really positive outcome afterwards.
The 52-year-old does more than just jump in the water, seen here surfing the Kananaskis River near Canoe Meadows. She's a cold crusher who has now created a 30-day challenge in the form of a deck of cards. She calls it the Cold Revolution, a guide to radical well-being. But it might not be for everyone. There aren't clear-cut benefits to submerging your body in cold water.
The evidence is strongest for after a hard workout, muscle recovery.
Beyond that, there is minimal science showing the long-term health benefits.
We can't right now say that high you get right after you jump into the cold water has long-term health span or longevity benefits.
TKERS also reminds individuals with an underlying heart condition, are pregnant, or have a cold-sensitive condition to avoid cold water exposure and speak to their medical providers. But for those looking to get a little chilly, Knox advises breaking the ice slowly.
You can change your experience with the cold. I used to be the coldest girl in the room, and now I'm out there in the winter river surfing in, minus conditions.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Lake Louise.
Thanks for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.